Hi, today's show is going to be about book burning and book banning. When I first thought about this, I thought it was going to be straightforward, just a black and white issue, you either on one side or the other. But the more I got involved with it, that black and white turned into a lot of shades of gray. So let's get started. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Big Love. Real Talk with Big Love. Welcome to another episode of Real Talk with Big Love. Here we go again. Well, welcome back to another episode of Real Talk with Big Love. And as usual, I'm your host, Leon Big Love Wilson. Well, before we even hop into this topic, because this is going to be kind of deep once we get more involved in it, please go ahead and like and subscribe my channel. Also in the comments, put in I subscribe, put a little exclamation point on top of that to let me know. Love you guys. Let's get started. A few days ago, I was reading an article about a pastor down in Tennessee. And he's from a small town called Mount Juliet, Tennessee. Well, there's a couple of things that struck me. First of all, that's what my mom grew up in, Mount Juliet, Tennessee. And as a little boy, I would spend my summers in the same little town. Growing up, at the time, we didn't even have running water. There was no indoor plumbing. You had to go out to the well and get your water. And that's where I was introduced to the switch. Now, for those who don't know what a switch is, that's a good thing. So I'm going to leave it at that. But anyway, this story was all about a pastor who decided to do a book burning. The congregation had been made aware of certain books in the school. Uh, some of those books dealing with the Holocaust, some of those books dealing with racism, homosexuality. And the pastor decided to do this book burning. And we live in America. This is where the First Amendment is the cornerstone of what we believe in. So this is a very difficult thing. Now, looking at the images on the screen, you see exactly what was going on. People just tossing books in. These books dealing with issues that not only do they don't believe is appropriate for adults and children, but shouldn't even exist at all. This is a tricky subject here, something that we need to think about. Remember, America is based on, or the foundation is based on the First Amendment, freedom of speech, freedom of religion. It's one thing to be able to say whatever you want to say without maliciously trying to hurt someone. Now we're getting into this funny area here. You can say what you believe, but do you have the right to say something that's going to hurt someone? Do you have the right? Is that part of freedom of speech? And if you say something or if you print something, should that be banned or burned because it doesn't line up with someone else's morals or their beliefs? Remember, we're still in America. We this is it. You allowed certain freedoms. Oh, this is an issue. This is an issue, especially since I don't know if you guys know this, but in my other life, I'm actually a book publisher, and I have a company. It's called GWU Publishing, and I I'm a published author. I create children's books, and in the link below, you'll find links to a couple of the books that I've written that I'm promoting right now at the GWU Publishing website. Um, Please go there and check it out. Selfish plug right there. But these are not just children's books, these are all books. People disagree, and they have decided that they shouldn't exist in the world. They shouldn't be allowed to be read. It's an interesting thing. So they went the extra mile and decided that these books need to be burned. Well, okay. This was down in Mount Juliet, Tennessee, which is right outside of Nashville. Okay. Well, a day or two after that, I'm reading another article, and now we move to Texas. Texas is having an issue in their schools. There's certain books in the schools that the parent council believes are not appropriate as well. And they're not going so far as to burn the books, but they want to ban the books in school. Now, this for me is where it's getting to be that gray area. If you don't know, I have three kids, three small kids, ages 10, 13, 14. So we're right there. Impressionable type of kids. Well, these books down in Texas that they are planning to ban, if they haven't already done it, these books deals with a range of issues. It it deals with homosexuality. It deals with uh, biracial relationships. It deals with the teaching of racism. There's something new on the horizon here, dealing with race. There's an issue that's on the books, I believe it's in 14 different states, that books dealing with racism shouldn't be allowed in schools. Now, here's the reasoning, and we're talking about this in the backdrop of Black History Month. The reason that these books should be banned is because it makes white kids feel bad about themselves. It shines a light on history. Now, this is a funny thing. This is not a made up thing. This is actual history. But in 14 states, they're trying to create these laws that will ban these books because when their kids read these books, it makes them feel bad about their race. This is an interesting thing here. I have there's a couple of books I wanted to bring your attention. Down in Houston, in a Houston suburb, the district is trying to remove a biography about Michelle Obama. And they're arguing that Michelle Obama's book promotes reverse racism because it it talks about the issues that she went through, not just growing up, but as an adult. And their argument is that it make white people or Caucasian folks, my brothers and sisters, feel bad. That's an interesting thing. There's another one here, Wilma Rudolph, Black Olympian. They're trying to ban her book because it depicts how she was treated growing up in Tennessee in the 1940s. This is an interesting thing here. Now, we started off about book burnings, and we're talking about a pastor who feels that not only should these books exist, but they should be destroyed. Now we're going to a step back where the books are starting to be banned in 14 states around the country because there's some issues in these books that a lot of these parents don't agree with. This is a difficult subject here. You're talking about books with homosexuality. I have a list of 50 books um, that I have a link down below. Please feel free to click on the link and go and look at some of these books. Some of these books are are questionable in my mind that I don't think kids should be reading. Genderqueer. This illustrated memoir is about it's a sexually explicit cartoon. For a long time, I've seen um, our society is overly sexed, and that's being pushed to our children. Why are you promoting certain books or documents that really pushes a child's sexuality? There's also uh, books dealing with young kids as it relates to their own sexuality and who they are. And parents are pushing back on that. Why are you trying to push our kids or expose our kids to certain things? Now, I don't believe books should be burned, but I do think that certain books are for certain age groups dealing with sexuality. I think certain books shouldn't just be wide open for any age. I remember I remember when I was a kid and Playboy was out. Well, as a kid, I couldn't go to a newsstand. I know a lot of people don't know what that is, but I couldn't go to a newsstand and buy a Playboy magazine. I couldn't do it. You had to be 18 or over. And that went with a lot of books. Even when you went into a store and they had certain books in lined up in the racks, they had the covers covered where you couldn't actually see the book other than the name. And only if the name was not explicit, right? So this is a gray area here. I don't believe in book burning. I believe the written word as a publisher, as an author, I understand what's required to write a book. The mindset that you must have, the urge to be able to get out a word that you're passionate about, that you know that there are other people who feel like you and they need this. This book that you're writing could be a lifeline to someone else who's feeling a certain way or going through something, and they don't know what it means, and they can't talk to someone about it. Well, sometimes you're able to get a book and it can help you through whatever you're going through if you're not able to talk to someone or express your true feelings to another person. So I get it. I get it. But some of these books, I mean, here's a book called Ground Zero. Uh, Parents are talking about 9/11, and they're saying that 9/11, number one, was an issue, but it's about an American boy and an Afghan girl having a relationship coming together. Mm, this is that. This is that biracial intimacy, the coming together. Now, this is not so much a kid's book, I don't believe, but But here, in my mind, this should be wide open because it's about a relationship, but this is about adults. But what the parents are saying, this is about people that are evil. This is what they're saying, not me. This is what they're saying, that the Afghans people are evil and terrorists and all of that, and they're connecting with an American boy, all American boy, and for them to have a relationship, this woman and this boy, or this man and this woman, is wrong. No, no, this is people fall in love all the time. It doesn't make a difference where you come from, or none of that matters. People fall in love. But here we go again. This is a book that um, that they want banned. City of Thieves, parents in Cincinnati, district to ban this work of history fiction set during the Nazi siege. They're saying that the book has pornographic imagery in the book that is unsuited for the majority of readers. There's a book called Genderqueer, a book this summer, graphic novel about the LGBTQ community. Uh, it has a recurring oral sex theme in the book. This is an adult book, and it goes on and on and on. Yeah, yeah. Now, when I first started researching about this particular issue, I was very much against burning and banning, and now I'm kind of in the middle of this whole thing. I don't know. You tell me, where do you come down on this issue? Look at the books that's been banned, go through the list, read the comments, leave me a comment down there, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, please take big love to everyone you meet and be blessed.